Hey everybody, it's Charles with the Barbershop Group Podcast. Glad to be back with you all. I hope that you have been enjoying our return to making podcasts. I know we had a couple months of downtime, and I think that we really were taking some time to kind of reassess how we do the show, and also just to take some time out for ourselves, considering 2020 has been very difficult for so many people because of the pandemic, because of things other than the pandemic. I just kind of consider 2020 a significant year of grief. There's always grief every year, but I think that this particular year, when you speak about individual and collective grief, it's been uh, pretty blanketed for many of us. And so sometimes we have to take a break and kind of, recenter ourselves. And then the other reason why we experience some downtime, guys, I've got to tell you, is, a lot of people think that making podcasts are ascension and really easy. But they're not always easy. Okay. You're coming up with your content. You're trying to find relevant people to come on the show, and you're asking if you're doing the right thing. And one of the things that I had to do with members of the barbershop group is I had to have a tough conversation and ask the question, are we doing the right thing? Because we know that there are a lot of people out there who like to get on the show and they want their voices to be heard. And we like for their voices to be heard. But one of the things that was happening for us was that we were interviewing so many therapists who, while they had a lot of great things to say, were really interested in growing their platform and their platform only. And I've been hesitant to talk about this publicly because, I don't want to throw anybody under the bus, and I will not. But I think that we had to just step back and say, wait a minute, we want to make sure that we're giving the guys what they need and not just giving the guests something that they want. We're all for helping therapists and financial analysts and everybody else in whatever field they are in as they're talking about the work that they're doing. We are trying to amplify the work that they're doing. But we also need our work amplified by the people who we're helping as well, right? So we want to scratch your back. We need you to scratch our back. And so we had to take a look at how we get that done, how we get our backs scratched, right? But we're here, and we will continue to get things out. We've got some other guests that are going to be coming on the show, and we really want to kind of get some guys next door on the show as well. I used to say that all the time, and I know a lot of people don't feel comfortable talking publicly about things, but I got to tell you guys about one episode really quick that I know you're going to love. Well, maybe. As you all may know, I've got two great friends from my college years, right? And we continue to talk daily. We talk every day, and we talk several times a day, thanks to Messenger and whatnot. We just hit each other on the fly and talk about anything. And the other day I happened to ask the guys how frequently they were masturbating now that we are middle-aged. I know you probably freaking out, and Dr. Poulter's over there like, yeah, okay. You can see his face. If you go to YouTube and check out the video, he's got his wheels turning now. But yeah, I said, hey guys, how often do you masturbate? And I waited to see who wasn't going to ask the question. And it turned into like a 2 or 3 hour conversation about masturbation and sex and aging and all this stuff for men. And one of my guys said, hey dude, why aren't we making this a podcast? So guess what we're going to do for you all? We're going to put our conversation out publicly on the podcast so that you all can hear it and just see what we had to say. But yeah, like I said, we got some pretty interesting things coming up for you. But today, it's December 18th, 2020. We know that Christmas is around the corner, and Christmas causes a lot of strange behavior, whether it's Christmas in a pandemic year or not. Strange behavior abounds. And I want to tell you guys a story about something I did that was extremely embarrassing But I laugh about it today because it was a learning experience. But first, I want to tell you something that one of the quote unquote fathers of psychology said, the Carl Jung, right? Some people say Jung. Yep, one of the gurus. He said the right way to wholeness is made up, unfortunately, of fateful detours and wrong turnings. So, okay. The right way to wholeness is made up of fateful detours and wrong turnings. So I'm going to share one of my wrong turns with you guys. So probably around 16 years old, I am dating. I guess they call it dating. I'm talking to a girl. I didn't call it dating back then because my parents would have slapped me in the mouth saying you're dating somebody, like you don't have a girlfriend. Boy, what's wrong with you, right? But I'm talking to this girl, man, and she goes to another school. And she goes to a school that is not far away from mine, but it's a school where people are really, really trendy. They've got a considerable amount of money. And, when you pull into the parking lot, you see a lot of kids. They've got their own cars and everything is flashy. Guess, Jabot, Nautica, you name it, top notch, everything. And again, this is back in the 90s. So this is when everybody was shopping at like Macy's and what was the other one? Dillard's or, these anchor stores that were big back in the day, right? Where your Polo and Nordstrom's, your Polo and Izod stuff, right, Doctor? Yeah. And so this girl, she was happening like that. She was all about that life. And I was trying my best. Yup.
We're all with you on this, Charles.
Dude,
we're all with you.
Let me tell you. Oh my God. So I'm trying my best to impress. I am trying my best to impress this girl. And, I was walking with her through the mall one day and I saw, we went into this leather coat store, saw this coat that she liked, and I remembered it, right? I remembered it and I just saw how her trying on that coat made her feel and how much she wanted that coat and everything, right? And, man, I was determined, hey, this girl is going to like me. I'm going to do it. I'm going to get this coat for her by any means necessary. And, tell you how I got that coat, Dr. Steve.
We're all with you on this, okay?
So, So what I did was, guys, let me tell you what I did. I took one of my parents' checks and forged the check to that store for the price of that coat. Okay,
and you're still here.
And I'm still here. Yep, okay. I'm here.
Okay. Oh man,
I'm here. They put that coat in that bag, gave me the receipt, man, and I walked up out of that store like I was like, "Hey, I am good. I am the man." I took that coat to her. She was just as happy as she could be. I was like, all right. Okay. Christmas time, Dr. Steve.
Oh my God.
Christmas time.
Next paragraph. So you give this coat to her like Christmas Day or Christmas Eve, right?
Yep.
You're the man. Charles, man. You just won the Heisman Trophy. You're that guy.
Okay. I am that guy. Okay. And a few weeks pass, and all of a sudden, my mom comes to me and she says, "Hey, me and your dad, we've been trying to figure out something, and like he's upset about this, and I don't even know what is going on." I'm like, "Well, what's happening, Mom?" And I played stupid as I could possibly be. Right. And my mom was allowing me to play stupid. That's really what she was doing. Okay. Needless to say, I got found out. Okay. And not only did I got found out, of course, by Mom and Dad, but I'll tell you who else I got found out by.
Oh, ouch.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Yep. Ooh. Yep. The girl too. The girl too. All right. So I don't know if any of you guys out there have ever had to pay restitution to your parents. But that became a thing.
Charles, Every guy is nodding his head. You paid restitution more than financially, just for the record, okay? You still may be paying it. You don't know that, right?
Okay, and so I know that my brother-in-law listens. My brother-in-law listens to the podcast, and so he probably will mention this to my sister, because I'm sure that my sister probably doesn't know this story, and so when she finds out, it'll be hilarious, man, because I always just thought of as this great kid. But that particular experience, Dr. Steve.
Wow.
That particular experience that I had, along with some other experience that I had in one of my professions, led me to what we're going to talk about today, and that's shame, holidays, and men just feeling like, you know what, we don't measure up. And what do we do? What do we do when Santa Claus is broke? Well, I can tell you, Dr. Steve, I can tell you what I saw a lot of Santas do when they were broke. See, a long time ago, I used to be in the field of loss prevention and shrink analysis for several retailers in the Northeast. Okay. Normally our main theft, client, our main theft client would be a woman, because this is who is in the stores a lot of time. This is who is doing the shopping. Soccer mom is doing the shopping. Teenage girl is doing the shopping. Guys were like in and out, not so much. Okay. Well,
and they don't care.
Christmas, and they don't care. They don't care. We just don't care.
Get it done.
But around Christmas time, that shifted quite a bit. Okay. And we would be stopping guys or getting video of guys coming into the stores and just ripping the stores blind. Right. And I mean, just going at it like, doesn't matter who was in the building, how many cameras were there, if the police were outside, I'm getting this and I'm getting it now. And when you interact with these guys, you talk to them, you learn about them, you see what they got going on. And what's one of the common things that was always happening for them, Dr. Steve? What do you think? Holiday time. What do you think?
They want to get something for their kids or their wife.
Yep.
I'm serious. And they're genuine. They're not stealing it.
Yes.
Yeah, they're not trying to sell it in the back alley, but they want to take care of mama, their girlfriend, the kids.
Yeah.
Or that cute girl.
Oh man, yeah, that little get that coat on the side, right?
Charles, it all starts about December 15th, December 10th. It ramps up.
Dude, it gets bad. It gets really bad. Okay. It gets really bad. And, I have seen that happen with so many men. I've seen that happen with guys who were in recovery. I've seen that happen with guys that were on the outside of sobriety and recovery, right? Who may not have drug dependency necessarily, but, it's a thing of, the holidays come around. Mom, I've got to get mom something. I've got to get wife or girlfriend something. I've got to try to take care of my kids. And let me add this caveat to it, Dr. Steve. It's also, and it's ramped up for guys who don't normally have access to their kids, and they're trying to get in good graces with the custodial parent. Oh yeah, that's a thing too.
Charles, you just took the win. I mean, now we're hitting pay dirt.
Okay.
Now we're hitting the road.
Yeah. Because it's like, you know what, no good for nothing, deadbeat dad. You never do anything for the kids.
You better come up with that bike.
Man, your son wants that bike. What are you going to do for him? Well, that new PS5 is out. He's really asking, can't you just make that happen? And I've heard mothers say, well, I don't care what you have to do. Just like, I don't understand why you can't do. Yes. And Charles, guys feel compelled to do it.
Charles, I've got guys every year. And by the way, Charles, I love your story about the leather coat. I had guys do grab and runs with champagne to impress the girl. At an inexpensive liquor store, not realizing security's in the parking lot. To try to impress. But this whole thing about the need, especially dads, custodial dads trying to impress the kids with a new Xbox, PS5. That movie, Jingle All the Way, with Sinbad and Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's timeless. And the shame that goes with that, Charles.
Right. Right.
As men, we're measuring ourselves again on this linear scale. If I get them this toy or this game, particularly games right now for teenagers, it's a big deal. Charles, we're talking a lot of money. I mean,
right.
I don't care who you are,
Right.
Those consoles, and because all the other kids have it, and you don't want your son or daughter to be one out, or the new iPhone, or I hear that one a lot. Crazy numbers. The phone costs.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Charles, what you're bringing up is the desperation, the despair between now and Christmas Day is like unlike any other time of the year.
Right. Right.
And also, Charles, I don't want to get too heavy, but suicides are off the chart right now.
Yeah.
This time of year.
Yeah.
Regardless of 2020 or 2010.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. From December 10th to about the 31st, for men, it's our highest time.
Yeah.
For men. And you saw these guys, when you're working security.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, the breakdown, it's so, if you've never been in that particular environment, the breakdown that you see these men go through, the humiliation that expresses itself, right? You just kind of go like, wow, man. And when you're a goody two shoes and stuff like that, all you're thinking about is, you can't follow the law, you can't do this, and you just made a poor decision, and now you got to pay and blah blah. You're going along that lines. But then when you are in the field of mental health and being you're checking into your empathetic self and all of this stuff, right? You're sitting with all of this pain that this guy is experiencing. You realize, whoa, there's something much deeper happening right now than, I was trying to score something. Because just like you said, Doc, they're not stealing it so they can go sell it at that time. They're stealing it so they can go say, here, son, I got you something. Here, daughter, honey, whoever, I got you something. And to see the looks on their faces when they're caught and they admit, you know what, man, it's been tight, and I just wanted them to have this. I want to ask you a question.
Yes.
Doc, because I'm as I close my eyes, I'm recalling so many of these conversations that I had with these men. And it almost sounds like what they were really saying was, I want to be loved and accepted all over again. And I'm doing it through this theft of this merchandise during Christmas. I'm going to give it to them, but I want them to accept me. Does that sound like I'm off or what?
No.
Here? What are your thoughts?
I wish you were off. Charles, you just it's the truth. Nothing's better than feeling like your kids love and accept you. Yeah. And I tell guys, they already do.
Yeah.
You're already in.
Yeah.
You're already in. And I'm not trying, Charles, let me tell you, I had a guy stole a Christmas tree off the lot.
Okay.
Because he wanted to show up with a nice tree.
Right.
And he got caught. And this is a true story here. The police officer felt so bad, he covered it.
Really? Wow.
Because he was a divorced dad too.
Got it.
And that guy with the Christmas tree was my client. And I told him, you need it. He goes, like, Charles, you're just talking to all of us. You're talking to all of us as dads, man. We want to do the best we can.
Right.
And we want to feel loved.
Right.
And Charles, I tell men, guys, what Charles was talking about, the whole masturbation issue, all that's great stuff. On this one, don't put your value in what you can buy.
I know that's right.
Man, yeah. I'm telling you, when your kids are at your funeral, they don't care. It's about you. Your value is way bigger than your Visa card.
Right.
And I tell men that. I've got guys that are getting laid off this year, Charles. You're in the in Michigan, you know what it's about. Out here in the West, it's tough.
Right.
I tell guys, don't go there. Your values, your value to your kids, they will spend the rest of their life missing you.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's something. And I think you're right.
To feel loved.
I don't think any children are going to grow up thinking, oh, Dad, you piece of shit because you couldn't give me some material. Now, I think that there will be children who grow up thinking that where there is bad parenting on the part of the custodial parent. I'm just going to put that out there. Okay.
Oh, spot on. Now that's a different story. That's not tied to Christmas Day.
Right. Yeah. That's a whole
different.
lot of other stuff. That's a whole lot of other stuff.
Yeah.
What I mean? But when a guy is doing that at that time, he's not thinking that way. He's thinking about that particular instance. It's the holiday. I want to make this impression. I want to do this for my kid, and I should be able to do this. There's a whole lot of inadequacies, right, that are sitting beneath, right? Yeah.
Charles, this is where shame is like a forest fire. It just ravishes men on the inside. Like, I got to get this to win. You're already winning. You don't need to do it. And out here, there's a lot of people out here who have more money than God, and the kids resent them because all they give them is money. They don't give them their heart or time.
Got it. Wow. Yeah, that's
I get
crazy.
a lot. It's crazy, Charles. And those kids, they would love just have a Christmas with their dad.
Yeah.
Where he wasn't distracted with something.
Yeah.
I'm being facetious. I hear you. Where they got their heart. And Charles, we're talking to him. This despair about being enough. That's why we're doing the Shame Factor group in this upcoming year. That's the gift men can give their kids. Right.
To get past your shame, right? And it's because I think that, I think we're getting to a point. Yeah. I used to be so afraid of passing on my addiction to my children. I was like, who's going to struggle with addiction in my family? I used to ask myself that question, right? And that's defeatist thinking. I know it is, because my therapist is like, yo,
that's not your best self.
Yeah,
why are you doing that?
Where are we coming from with this?
We're asking the wrong questions. Yeah,
but with the help of my therapist, the conversation, the question has become, well, wait, what shame are you going to give to your children? And the reason why it's asked that way is because what he's essentially saying is, look, if you don't address your own shame, you will give that to the children. Okay? If you don't do the work to address putting together the different parts of you and accepting all of you, then that's what you're going to show kids, and your kids are going to do the same thing too.
That's heavy.
Yeah.
Because
when you think of sins of the father, Doc, when you think of sins of the father, that's, to me, it's not addiction, it's not murder, it's not robbery, it's not fornication, adultery, all these things, right, that people want to come up with. It's to me, the sin of the father is shame.
Charles, I want to read something to you. What you just said is shame. To my children, I'm sorry for the unhealed parts of me that hurt you. It was never a lack of love for you. It was only a lack of love for myself. Yeah. That's the shame factor.
Yep.
Charles?
And that's what I think we pass on,
Right on. That is the legacy. You're trying to, I'm changing, you're changing, and the guys with us. If that's what we change, Charles, we're doing good work.
Right.
And the guru said that, Wayne Dyer, all of them said it. Heal your shame, you're healing the world.
Yeah.
That's the gift you want to give them this Christmas.
Wow. Yeah.
You heal your shame, you're healing the world. And I'm not, we're not trying to get too over the top here, but Charles, I don't want to give this to my son, nor your son.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Because I mean, I see evidences of it, and I'm thankful that today I'm aware of it. And I kind of, when I'm talking to the kids or whatever, and I hear them say something, or I see them do something, I'm like, oh, okay, I know where it's coming from. Let's change course and address it like that, right? So, in terms of the holiday, in terms of, the gift that we men can give children around this time of the year, right? I think that we have to reassess how we view value, right? And how we value ourselves. And it may not necessarily be something that, like a 5-year-old or a 6-year-old is going to be able to understand, obviously, because of the level of emotional intellect at that time. But as they grow, I can tell you that a 17-year-old is going to appreciate your authenticity and your love and your openness about what was going on, what you could and could not do, as opposed to them maybe having to get like email correspondence or something from you because, you're locked up because of something that you wanted to do for them. Then they're going to be like, Dad, you were stupid. Like, why? And now you were already feeling shame before. And now you got a 17-year-old kid buried. Telling you, you know what, you made a dumbass mistake, Dad. Duh. How's that going to feel?
Charles, I got a guy who committed white-collar crime, embezzled money out of a finance. His son said, I'd rather have my dad dead than go to prison.
Yeah.
Because in prison, it's all shame. Everybody knew in town. And so Dad got out of prison last year. Kid won't talk to him. I'm like, nah, you got to forgive your dad. He was desperate. He wanted to fund his college. He wanted to fund his college.
Yeah.
And we're working on it, Charles. We're working on forgiveness. We're working on it. We're working on it.
Yeah.
I can tell you, so as we're talking right now, we could do this all year and never exhaust the subject.
Right. No, you're right. You're very right about that. So I want to ask you, because we're running out of time, and just so you guys know, again, we're talking to Dr. Steve Poulter, the author of Shame Factor. Here's your deepest fears and set yourself free. Please, guys, bear in mind that we are preparing for a men's group that covers everything in this book, and it is fairly thick. As I've said to you before, here's a book. Okay, you can purchase the book. You can purchase the book on Amazon. But if you sign up for our 8-week group, you'll be able to get the book free. How about that? And I mean, it's a wonderful, wonderful book. I stay in it. I have shown it to several people. And they love it. I've shown it to colleagues. I've shown it to special people in my life. And this is a wonderful, wonderful book to get your hands on. One of the things that I wanted to ask you, Dr. Steve, as we close, like I said, Christmas is around the corner. There's not a whole lot of work that a guy can do between December 18th and December 25th of this year to fix all of the shame that he may experience. But just something short and quick and easy, Doc, for somebody to focus on right now with a week left, to just some mantra, some word of advice, some kind of tool that he can use right now to get through this week. What is it?
Charles, the word I go with, forgiveness. Start forgiving yourself.
Yeah.
I didn't make enough money. It's okay. And the people we hold resentments toward, there's one person in each of our lives we may hold all the resentment. Start forgiving them in your mind, in your heart.
Yeah.
And watch your week change.
Yeah.
people will change around you. And the universe, you'll have the opportunity to forgive them personally someday. But that's the word I tell men. Practice forgiveness.
Right.
Start with yourself, and then start with the person you resent. And it could be the mother of your children. Start there.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to shift your holiday.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Charles, I had it happen the other day. I saw a guy on the jogging path, and I just looked at him and said, "Hey, I hope you have a great holiday season."
Yeah.
I wish you well. He looked at me like he saw a ghost.
Is that right?
Yeah. And Charles, that's what I advise men. Psychologically, we want to feel whole. We want to be strong.
Mm-hmm.
Start forgiving people and start with yourself.
Right.
And if it starts with the kids, their mothers, the mother of your children, whoever it may be, go there.
Yeah.
You don't need to pick up the phone. Just do it inside your heart.
Got you.
And lastly, Charles, it all works out.
Right. It does.
It all works out. Whatever circumstance you're in right now, it's all going to work out.
Yeah.
Maybe a rough landing, but it'll work out.
So, forgiveness,
Charles. When I get people that are stuck in shame and it feels like I'm at a cement wall, I always ask them, "Who do you need to forgive?" "I'll never do it." "Okay, good. Who is that for?" "Oh, okay, great.
Yeah.
So now you tell me who it is." Just tell me who it is. "I have a woman. He's unforgivable." "No. Only if you want it to be."
Right. That's right. Yeah, that's very true.
When I have people scream at me, call me the F word, I'm an idiot. Okay. Forgive them.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm telling you, Charles, their life's never the same.
Right.
They're never the same. They have the experience that people say, "I don't believe in God." Forgive somebody you hate.
Yeah.
And you'll get there.
Mm-hmm.
You'll feel the peace. You'll feel stuff you've never felt before.
Right.
And shame is all about resentment. Shame's all about hatred.
Mm-hmm.
So, Charles, I thank you. But that's what I got to practice it too.
Yeah, we all do. Right.
Oh man, no one's exempt.
And I think for me and for a lot of guys out there, Dr. Steve, again, it's very much twofold. It's practicing the forgiveness of ourselves. And because a lot of us have been, we hear conversations about forgiving somebody else, but now when you turn that, you're like, okay, how do you forgive yourself? You got to get to the point where you can forgive yourself, right? That's huge. That's
Charles,
huge. So guys, you all have heard Dr. Steve Poulter tell you one word, one thing that you can do today, and it will not necessarily fix everything that you've experienced this year regarding leading up to the holiday and things like that. However, do take a look at beginning the process of forgiving yourself and beginning the process of forgiving other people. And understand, please, that in forgiving other people, it does not necessarily mean that you re-enter into a relationship with them. It does not mean that you don't practice boundaries regarding the person that you are forgiving, right? This forgiveness, and Dr. Dyer used to say it all the time, you forgiving someone is for you. It is not for them. Okay.
Right on.
And so try to do that. And then also you forgiving yourself is for you and not for them. And when you see that, and you start to practice that little by little, like Dr. Steve said, you do experience a heightened level of peace.
That peace, Charles, that peace of mind. And Charles, that's the legacy. As dads, the greatest gift you and I can give to our kids is the ability to forgive.
Yeah. How about that?
If they can do that, Charles, they can go anywhere in life.
Yeah.
They've got courage. That's courage. Courage is to forget. That's courage.
Yeah.
You want to be strong? Forgive someone you hate.
Absolutely. I agree with that. Absolutely. Well, guys, you all have heard it. You have heard it. You know, we know that the holiday is around the corner. We know that sometimes we feel inadequate because we can't get that new PS5 for little Junior. And a lot of guys make the decision to engage in criminal activity or do some shady things to get some things
Yep.
because, you know, at the end of the day, we want to be loved and accepted. And we want to get past our inadequacies. But in order to do that, truthfully, we have to be willing to forgive ourselves. So until next time, guys, we hope that you will be well. As I always say, love you more, love your people more, and we will talk to you soon.
Thank you, Charles. God bless.